Hello, Kurt.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Almighty.
Good. Who's there?
Almighty, how's it going?
Oh, Marmighty. Hey. Good. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Absolutely great. It's good to see you.
You too.
A lovely blue sky.
It is. It's a beautiful day today. Just doing some cleaning in the garden today. By the way, I'm broadcasting on YouTube as well. So, you, you're both here and there.
Be warned.
Yeah.
Be warned.
Heads up. I'm trying.
No problem.
You know, it's funny. I didn't intend to do this. I just simply started the live, and this in Discord, and then I thought, well, maybe I'll turn the camera on. It's such a lovely day. Turn the other camera on, and just let that run. And then I thought, hey, they're running at the same time. Anybody that wants to can drop in and say hi. And there you are.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be a part of your content. Absolutely, no problem.
Thank you.
And also, just to honestly spend some. All right, Kurt, I'm a little bit drunk right now. I'll be honest.
You're a little bit drunk?
I'm a little bit boozed up. Yeah, I've had a few beers, but I think thoughts, although slower, flow freer. If you know what I mean.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Isn't that part of the root of the word inebriate, right? It's got to have something to do in there about the freedom of the tongue, right? And the mind.
Oh, that's a great. I've not studied the etymology of inebriation, but it sounds like it fits.
Yeah, I haven't either, and I'm just taking a speculative guess that whoever wanted to find a word to describe it must have rooted it in the freeing of the tongue and the mind and the spirit.
A simple Google has said that exhilarated or confused by alcohol is inebriation.
Well, I guess
exhilarated.
Off base on that.
No, but yeah, no, I mean the essence of it, I would agree with.
Ooh,
totally.
There's a centipede. Ooh. Yeah, there's got to be somewhere. You know that people somewhere must have tapped into what you're saying, but that's good sometimes to let it flow. It's still, what time is it where you are?
It's 1:29 a.m. right now for me. I just got home from the bar with some friends.
That's all.
Yeah, I saw you were online on the office hours, and I thought I should just drop in and say hello at the least, and try and avoid embarrassing myself too much.
in the end, though, does it really matter? I wonder.
Well, no, I think honest people will be honest, whether or not they've had beer in them or not. It's.
Let me click this. Yeah. Oh, sorry, this alarm went off. Just a second. Yeah, I think you will. But no, what I mean by that, honest, is does it really make a difference in the long run whether we embarrass our? And I'm not saying you're embarrassing yourself, but if you were to, in the long run, does it really make a difference?
No, true. Yeah. No, definitely. It's about what it's definitely. I think that there's a concept in the UK where it's to get to know someone, you have to get them drunk, and then they'll tell you what they really think. And so there is an element of a vulnerability that people have when they've had a few beers. And but yeah, I honestly, I just wanted to kind of see what's going on, and generally say hello.
Thank you. I'm glad you did. I'm kind of doing a little archaeology here in my front yard. I'm trying to clear this space here, and I've uncovered over time all of these little bricks. They're not old. I mean, these are not old things, but a little personal archaeology. I'm thinking I'm going to clean them, and then I'm going to find some place in the backyard to put all these things, and then slowly start to weave them into the landscape. So.
Yeah, excellent. They look like some kind of piping or something, don't they? Like
it's
archway kind of.
It's a brick, and that has been fired to look like stone, and I think someone had made a round planter out of it. And
Oh, I see. Okay. Or maybe like a formed concrete,
yeah,
something like that.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'll clean it up a little bit and figure something out with it eventually.
Yeah. Definitely, the edges say to me that if you put 4 of them together, you can make a very nice planter for a tree.
Exactly. Look at
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah, if you put 4 of them together, I feel like you could put like a very nice. I'm not sure what's native in Japan, but maybe like some kind of fruiting shrub.
Right. Yeah,
Who knows?
anything like that. Or maybe they have something here called a something dahlia. It's an emperor dahlia. My neighbor, I think you can see his house right there. That's my neighbor right there.
Oh, yeah.
And he has one flowering in his front yard. And he and I were talking this morning, and he was telling me all about it. It flowers in November. I could fit one of those in there.
Oh, very nice.
I'm sure something will figure out. It's kind of fun just to dally around, play with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, dilly dally. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you got the week ahead of you. What's in store for you this week?
Well, next week, so lots of migration work for my IT business. Well, no, sorry, I work for a company, a technology company. I guess you must know Booking.com. I work for Booking.com.
Don't forget,
And,
we're live in the public, so don't say anything you don't want the public to know.
Oh, sorry. I work for a travel company. I work for a travel company, and yes.
You're welcome.
So I work in IT.
You're welcome to say the name of your company. I'm fine with it. I just don't want you to find yourself in an uncomfortable position.
Oh no! That shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, I work for. Okay, for the YouTube, I work for Booking.com, but yeah, I work in corporate IT, so I look after the tools and the practices of the employees of Booking.com. And yeah, so next week we're looking at we're looking at a lot of AI tools at the moment, and yeah, it's kind of interesting work to try and determine the wheat from the chaff, the useful tools from the hype. So yeah, it's kind of interesting.
So I have a question for you. I was watching a video this morning about AI, and they were saying that for people like you, that the landscape. Well, it was giving AI strategies for line workers, for IT, for management, and for executive. And one of the things they were saying was that more important than prompting skills, and more important than it was prompting and something else, they said was the ability to not become reliant too much on any particular type of AI, but instead to know how to take the workflows and how to identify and map the appropriate workflows to the appropriate AI tools, so that this can be replicable against a background of a multitude of IT tools. You know what I mean? So that as the AI landscape changes. Oh, I remember what they were saying. Pick an interface, like whether that interface be spreadsheets or dashboards or email or calendar, and then learn how to map the workflows from that dashboard, from that interface to the appropriate AI tool behind the scenes. What do you think of that? That was an interesting thought.
Yes.
I hadn't thought of that before.
No, definitely. AI tools are not to replace individuals, but to simplify workflows effectively, and to give an opinion at every stage that can be tracked and understood. So for us, we use AI tools to determine if code is correctly formatted, and also to give opinions on tests and elements like that currently. But there is always a human that will also review the test or review the code that's being reviewed by AI. So I see it as a force multiplier, but not as a replacement or a destruction of the role. So it will reduce roles. I won't speak in specifics, but some companies have begun reducing their workforces, and it's very public that the element, like companies like Amazon and other companies have begun to reduce a lot of their code reviewing elements of their businesses and relying more on AI. Also, using AI tooling to produce like templated code, and it's generally speeding up those areas. I feel like it's more like the accountancy days of the 1990s, where everything was in a filing cabinet, and computerization came along and sped everything up. So there wasn't much of a need for the many administrative roles of like dealing with paperwork and things. But
Right.
it's like a distillation almost. It's like a vodkaization in my drunken mind. That's the only thing that comes to mind right now. But it's yeah. Excuse my horrible analogies. But yeah, I feel like it's a distillation. That's what's occurring right now. When I think of code and when I think of services on a scale such as, I mean, obviously I'm not speaking for my own company, but for in general, companies that encompass billions of dollars or whatever, there's multiple teams responsible for multiple elements, and they all have their multiple responsibilities. We're gonna see a shrinkage across the board, and it's happened in a lot of companies, a lot of friends of mine, in my company too, and these are very skilled people, and it does worry me about the longevity of my career. I'll put it that way.
What could you do? What could you do to provide a little insurance for your longevity?
Well, I think of careers that don't involve computing and involve automation. So, me personally, I've been doing Japanese cooking courses, and so I want to introduce the UK to the culture, like the izakaya culture. I want to introduce them to that casual food, that counter service. But so I've been looking at a total career change, and it does kind of feed into a lot of what IT people go through, where they spend 10, 20 years doing programming and other IT work, and then they end up starting a goose farm. That's the meme. The meme is, I've had enough of IT, I'm going to start a goose farm, or I'm going to do something more physical and more honest. And not that there's dishonesty, but there is.
Well, I know what you mean. It doesn't feel real sometimes.
Yeah.
It feels like a very sterile type of career. You want to get, like I'm doing right now, right? I'm getting a little dirt under my fingernails and running into centipedes and feeling the sun on my skin. It feels more real in some way.
Yeah, I feel like it's easier to prove that your labor has been successful when you're moving physical things around, or providing someone with a meal, or hosting someone in a hotel, or I feel like it's more of a mission assigned and a mission achieved when you can physically see that thing has been done. But within IT, it's very much, the mission is very much just maintain uptime and maintain or improve a service that may be slightly better or slightly quicker. And it's not necessarily as apparent, it's more of a financial optimization or a back-end optimization that isn't really visible to people. So I think a lot of the satisfaction of work comes from the recognition of work. So people that would say, like, build a statue, or complete a bridge, or sell an amazing meal, I feel like that there's a lot more kind of feedback and resulting satisfaction that comes from that. But if I was to, I might make a code change that saves the company $1 million. And if I was to, instead of created an amazing, I don't know, an amazing beef Wellington or an amazing English breakfast.
Well, how about just an amazing dining experience for somebody? An amazing,
exactly.
amazing evening with their friends.
Yeah, like they, a couple had a lovely meal there and decided to get married. So sort of vibe. I feel like,
or celebrated their anniversary and you catalyzed that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the catalyst of real movement. It's like velocity and impact. It's like the impact may be very small in a social sense, but the impact is massive, but it's small. It's a small but massive impact. In IT, I feel like you make very impactful changes, but a very small amount of people, or even no one, will even notice or know.
You know what? Your thought has given me an image. It's like IT is like dropping a 1 pound rock into a pond from a cliff 1,000 feet high. It impacts, but it's at a distance, and you can hear the reverberation and watch the ripples go away, but it's far away. Versus, being right there at the foot at the edge of the pond and tossing even a smaller stone in, right? You get to see the immediate influence all over and around you, right? It's like action at a distance versus, even if it's significant, it's still action at a distance. It feels remote.
You feel disconnected. You feel disconnected from what you're really trying to achieve. And I also feel that when something is so mature, it's like you're making very like muscular fiber based changes in the human inner system, and it doesn't feel satisfying. And so I feel like I've been doing IT for 15 years. Not a long time, but long enough.
Right.
And for me right now, it started as a hobby, and it became my profession. And now I don't like it. I don't want to do IT anymore. I've kind of had enough, and so I want something that more impacts me as an individual, something that I can really tie my reputation as an individual to, rather than my company's reputation to what I'm doing. And so, and I feel like that's more of an honorable path, but this is something I'm kind of battling with. I'm not really. I have the golden handcuffs right now.
Yeah.
I can sit where I am for the next 10 years and be very financially safe and happy. Or I can take the risk and do something a bit odd, and maybe open my own little ramen stall in the UK and try and have something else, And it's a massive risk, and I've always been very risk averse. So that's something I've been struggling with.
Can you picture yourself? Yeah. I know you and I both probably know where the answer's headed, but can you picture yourself, being mid 60s or early 70s and looking back, and how would you feel about missing that opportunity, even if it gave you freedom and comfort in your old age? If missing it gave it the golden handcuffs. How do you feel about trading the security that it could buy, with golden handcuffs can buy, with the lack of opportunity, because you might not be able to do that so easily? Or how do those weigh age 70?
Yeah, so when I'm 70, I've honestly not thought that far ahead, and maybe this is part of the problem that I've had, is that I'm always thinking kind of 5-10 years ahead, not that far. But yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to turn this into a Marmite therapy session, but I hope you don't mind it.
Oh no, I don't think it's a therapy session. It's two guys talking about the. It's the same if we were sitting at the bar, right? It's like It's the kind of stuff
We're having a chat.
that we talk about.
Yeah.
It's really important stuff about what the heck to do with life so that you don't wind up feeling like you missed out. Because you get it. There's only a limited amount of time. When I'm trying to think of the word. It's like a viability. You have like this energy and enthusiasm and interest in mental horsepower that fades, right? I mean, because you only get a certain amount of time of that before that starts to fade away, right? I mean, this is important stuff, I think.
Yeah, true. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's like there's like a fertile period of satisfaction of being able to plant your own crops and be able to kind of see them grow, kind of, those multi-year crops kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So many older people talk about, I think it was, what's Warren Buffett's partner? He died. His name was Charlie. I don't remember his last name, but, Charlie, I was watching an interview with Charlie, and he was talking about how his dream...
Munger.
Yeah. And he was saying that it was like a year before he died, and he said, a 200-pound tuna. He said, I have no interest in landing a 200-pound tuna. He said, but when I was in my 40s, that was a big thing for me, was to land a 200-pound tuna. And he's like, don't wait, because he says it might not be that you won't have the opportunity. You also might not want to do it anymore, but the fact that it might have been a worthwhile goal might still be the case. You know what I mean?
I see. Yeah. It was like an accolade he could have achieved when he was younger, but now that he's older, his regret is now that he can't achieve it. More than that he didn't.
No, it wasn't that he can't. This was an important distinction that he was trying to make. Is that he didn't want to do it anymore.
Oh, he didn't want to. Okay, but I see. Like he didn't.
He remembered being a younger man that had that dream. The dream was gone. And true.
Right.
And true, he couldn't do it anymore. But he also didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, he didn't want to. Yeah.
But if he had done it as a young man, he would have had that experience.
It never would have been mentioned. Yeah, he would have just achieved his goal and been satisfied and taken the fruits of his labor at that moment. Yeah.
Right. It's like a season. Like these things come in their seasons, right? And if we don't capitalize in their season, the season passes.
True. Wow. Yeah. Very true. Carpe diem, seize the day.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah. Wow, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's like the regret, like, yeah. Interesting. It's like.
I'll give you an example, if you don't mind. So when I was in high school, I was with some friends, another guy and two young women, and we were in high school. I think we were seniors or juniors, and we were parked outside of this resort that had a swimming pool, and there was no fence. It was kind of out in the countryside, and we'd had a nice evening, a lot of fun, and the two girls wanted us to go skinny dipping, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't feel like, for whatever reason. Okay, my season, I had a little season of opportunity right there to go skinny dipping in high school with some pretty girls. And I let that season pass, and I regretted that my whole damn life.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. I know what you mean. It's the regret of what could have been. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Or not even what could have been, but what you could definitely have grasped. It's
experience we could have.
It's
had,
like
right?
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. No, I love that. The thought of. I think that's, as I get older. I mean, I'm 35, so I feel like I'm in the middle of my life right now. And as I think about it, I do think more about the things I didn't do more than what I want to do. if you know what I mean.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
it's starting to become. I'm starting to kind of flip more that way. Like the opportunities of spontaneous expression of self have almost diminished. You know, it becomes more like a drudgery, a continuous ticking clock. You know, like a continuous day in day out routine of things that you know. I think now back, and I'm like, I really wish I did. I went on that trip, or I said yes to that date, or I, you know, that business opportunity that came up in my 20s, I would go for it.
Right.
You know, a lot of those kind of thoughts do come through, and yeah, you know what? I feel like it's important to do things you won't regret. You know, to not to do things you. Sorry, let me formulate my words. To not. Sorry. This is the alcohol in the middle of my brain right now. But you know, not to regret, or to seize the day. Yeah, carpe diem. To seize the day is important. Is more important, I feel, now than when I was 20, because the opportunities that I have to seize that day are diminishing. And so I feel like I have to be more dynamic. And maybe this is like the midlife crisis. I mean, Kurt, I've already bought a motorbike. All right, I've already done the motorbike midlife crisis. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm already selling said motorbike. All right, but you know,
Check that off the checkbox, eh?
Yeah, I rode a motorbike for a couple of years, you know, you know, and I'm sure there'll be people that are older and more wiser and more you know, they would know more about that. Like, you know, I bet, yeah, it's more important than ever to do what your compass and where your sails are set and where the wind blows, you know.
You know, there's these two guys,
Definitely.
Take and Joey, who have a podcast called the Buying a House in Japan podcast, and they run a website called Akiamart, and where you can find houses like my house for sale. And they're not only do they have this website, they're IT guys. One of them's a real estate agent. Well, they're not IT guys. One of them's an IT guy. He made the website, and then Joey Take is the real estate agent. So they put their team together to do real estate in Japan. Anyway, if you listen to their podcast, they're in the middle of a potential purchase of a laundromat, a coin-operated laundromat here in Japan that they're going to buy for about $50,000. And they both, if you listen to their podcast and they're talking about all the deal, they went to see it, and it's got all these posters from like the Showa period, and it's kind of old, it's called kind of a little rundown, and they're like, you know what, in the end, this is probably not a smart move to make, to buy this laundromat, but then they keep coming back to the same thing. They say, but we want this experience. We want the experience of buying and trying to run a laundromat as foreigners in Japan as a trophy on the shelf of our life. They say, we don't care about the money so much, we just want the experience. And there's something that animates their voice and their enthusiasm. They're having so much fun doing it, just for the sake of the experience.
Purely the thrill of the ride. Yeah, like Bill Burr, you know, life is the roller coaster kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like your age. They're like they don't have a lot. They're not they don't have kids, and so they don't have a lot to lose, and so why not?
Yeah, same. Kindred spirits. Yeah. No, yeah, I can understand that. The taking a risk thing, you know, it's definitely like a 20s, 30s person's game, I feel.
Yeah, you don't want to. You definitely don't want. And if it's, I'm sorry if I sound patronizing or anything, but you definitely don't want to definitely don't want to get my age and not be able to retire, because the body starts to shut down, the mind starts to shut down, and you know what else? Society starts to shut you down, even if you don't want to. I'm already feeling it. You know, I'm becoming irrelevant to the world, just by virtue of my age. So yeah, get that stuff done with while you still can, while you're still relevant, and while you have the energy and the chutzpah.
No, I know. And honestly, I fear that. I fear that irrelevancy. You know, the dismissal of Well, I mean, it may not even be from the employer or purely based on age, but like they may think that you're kind of entrenched in your ways and unmovable. You know, in how you operate. So it. You know, the old dog and the new tricks. You know, I don't know if that's how they feel, but that's something I fear.
And I think there's some truth to it too. I mean, I mean, I'm talking as an old dog. I mean, I can't mentally. I don't have the horsepower anymore to keep up with the younger people, and I'm not as relevant anymore. And I'm like looking at them, and I'm going, you know, it's like trying to, it's like you know, a boxer, realizing, you know, I can't fight in the ring with these people anymore.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of the career anxiety that I have is based on that, but it's accelerated by AI. So it's my career is primarily in coding and infrastructure and other things like you know, IT stuff, right? And it's more like, it's not necessarily that I'm not learning a new technology or I'm not learning a new competency. It's just simply that the core competencies of my role are being replaced with automation, and it's almost like an accelerated version, I feel. And a lot of tech workers are going through this. There's been massive waves of layoffs, amongst like really large companies, Amazon and everything else, and that's it's concerning, you know, and it makes me think that the traditional trades, plumbing, electricians, builders, are really the protected element, the sheltered work class in that area, and that maybe I should really consider going into that side of things, you know.
Can I share with you a thought on that line that I've been having? Because I've been wondering about the same thing with regard to my daughter. And she hasn't asked me my opinion. But if she were to ask my opinion, Dad, what do you think I should do, you know, in the face of AI? I would tell her, become a scuba diving instructor and open a scuba shop. Because what's going to happen,
Yes.
the reason is, no one's going to want to learn how to scuba dive from an AI, right? No one would trust that. And secondly, scuba diving is, at least here in Japan, is more like a club activity. You join a dive shop to become part of a community, and once you're part of that dive shop, you don't just go and get your certification. That's part of your life now. The scuba instructor organizes tours to the Izu Peninsula or Okinawa, and everybody goes, and it's a social event. And say, it's going to be, AI might be able to take over a lot of the skills that you and I have, but it's going to be a long time before it's going to be the leader of a community of human beings that are going around and sitting at a campfire and poking sticks at the coals and talking about life after a good day of scuba diving.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. But then it's a fearful element for me, because, you know, I've built my life upon this career of code, right? And it's like it's crumbling before me. And do I get off the bridge and take something that's going to definitely I'm going to be on 20% of what I'm on pay wise, you know,
right,
and pursue a career doing something more practical, or which is future proofing myself? Or do I hold on with the tips of my fingers, try and stay as relevant as I can until I get almost pushed out, and then make the leap? Like, this is the kind of problem I have, because also it's like, I'm not the only person in this position. I'm one of probably 50% of the middle class of my country, where we're in code or in something that's automatable.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a word, but yeah, you know what I mean.
I
Yeah.
do. Can I ask you two questions? Two things. One, what quality of
Please.
life would you be happy to live? And two, what are you doing to make sure you don't have to keep on working when you're my age?
Yeah, I've been quite lucky. I own my house in the UK fully, like no debt, no mortgage, nothing. I really I had a fear of stability in my life. So when I was growing up, stability of finances and things was always a concern. My parents weren't the most well. They had no money. You know, we were. So that has driven my self-sufficiency. So my house is paid off. I think in about 5 or 10 years, I should be in a position where I could retire technically, but retiring at 40 isn't really. I mean, I've watched a bunch of your conversations around, staying active, staying mentally exercised, and a lot of that isn't, retiring at 40. And also the essence that you mentioned about earning your retirement is something that really resonated with me. It's something that I was brought up quite traditionally in the UK, where it was like you retire when you're 50. You don't retire when you're 30 or 40. So I don't feel like I've earned it yet.
Can I share?
Please do.
Two thoughts. One, the first is that I know what you mean about the retirement, earning the retirement, but can I suggest that may be an antiquated idea? Even though I'm one that says that, I think that the writing might be on the wall, that may be an artifact of the past, right? Where we think, because there was no other way. Everybody had to pull their fair share of 30 or 40 years at the coalface for the system to work. That may change. And then the second idea is that I'd like to ask you is, what does it take in the UK to be eligible for a pension when you reach pensionable age? Like in the United States, you need 40 credits to be eligible to begin receiving a pension at age 62. 40 credits is equivalent to 10 solid years of work. It's about the same in Japan. What does it look like in the UK? The reason I'm asking that is, maybe you're further along than you think. You've already got the house. Two, maybe at age 35, you've already got the years. Now, of course, the more you work, the longer you work, the higher it will go up. But maybe you've already got the base minimum. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So in the UK, I think you're eligible for the state pension. So you do 10 years of any kind of. So we have a system here in the UK. It's called national insurance, which is effectively it pays for our national health service and also for our pension. Okay. So we don't pay any. That's the way we pay for our healthcare here, basically. Nice. And after 10 years, you get a very small amount, but you need at least 35 years to get the full contribution. So you have to be in work for 35. I think at the moment I'm on about 14 or 15 to get the full pension. But
wouldn't it be an interesting exercise, and maybe you've already done this, to break out a spreadsheet and look at your goes-intas, the stuff that comes in and that goes out as the money that comes out, and figure out if you reach age 60 with a house that's paid off, what type of a pension you need to live a comfortable life. Keeping in mind things like a lot of countries like Japan, once you reach 60, you no longer have to pay into the pension system anymore. You can stop and your health insurance premiums go way down a lot. Well, the reason I'm suggesting this is you might discover that you don't need to hold on, you don't need to keep those golden handcuffs on you as long as you might think you do.
Yeah, so I've done the calculation. So in I think I've been quite fortunate that the golden handcuffs are very golden and shiny.
Can I remind you just real quick that this is broadcasting on YouTube. Just make sure you don't say anything private.
Oh, certainly, yeah.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, my employer my employer does a very generous matching contribution scheme to a private pension. I'm not advertising my company right here, but I'm just saying that it's a very generous package, and in about maybe so there's a movement. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. Do you know the financial independence retire early movement, the FIRE movement? Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I could be I hit my FIRE number in 4 years if I was just to stay where I am. So that I'd be 39 basically.
So why can't you have your cake and eat it too then?
Well, I feel like I would have the energy to continue, but then AI is coming in and almost taking my cake from me, if you know what I mean. So it's like if I can.
Let me clarify what I meant by that. What's stopping you from? And I certainly don't want to suggest any outcomes to you or any life decisions. But literally, if I was in your position, what's stopping you from saying, okay, I'm going to do another 5 years at what I'm doing, and then after that, I'm gonna open up an izakaya in England.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well.
Where's the risk?
Yeah. It's true. So I can't do the same. I can't do both at the same time. So it's more of a can I put up with it for 5 years?
Well, maybe you can put up with it if you have an ulterior motive. Like the ulterior motive is to generate enough capital and start looking for the real estate and to maybe you can use the 5 years to use a side project to build the izakaya and have that ready kind of as a shell to go with the capital needed, etc. when you pull the trigger. That would kind of give you the side motivation to keep going, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, I have thought about this, but then there are all sorts of tax complexities in the UK where multiple income sources, and you have to do like a self-assessment tax, and you have to hire an accountant, and there's a lot of tax-based infrastructure that I'd have to employ.
Right.
And so it's like, would I like the complexities of starting my own business alongside of a full-time job, or I could just kind of stay in the full-time job and be kind of mentally unaware of it, you know?
Right.
mentally away from the complexity. So, but then again, I guess to counter my own point there, it would be like, how much do I really want it? You know, like if I'm not willing to put up with the tax burden, or not the burden of physical tax, but more the administration. Like, how much do I really want it?
Wouldn't that only come into play once you pull the trigger and start the business? If you were just preparing the way, building the izakaya in the clouds, so to speak, until then. Like I dreamed before I came to Japan, what sustained me at my incredibly high stress job back in the States was dreaming of this life. Researching, looking at houses that were available, imagining, running spreadsheets, running the numbers. The IRS, the Internal Revenue Service in America, had no idea I was doing any of this. There was no tax liability. It was all free work on my mind, just drawing pictures of my dream life in the sky.
No, I've drawn my fair share. Like I'm a step away from pulling the trigger on a commercial property right now. I have a business plan. I have capital set aside. Like I'm ready to do it. It's more that it's not that the plan isn't established or the pathway is set. Like for me, it's more if I pull the trigger, I would probably have to dedicate myself to this as an individual, because go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you clearly thinking all this stuff through all way ahead of time.
Yeah, definitely. It's something I'm really passionate about. Like I mean, I've only been to Japan for maybe a month or two, but the izakaya culture, I feel like, really resonates with British people. But we love
like pub culture.
Meat on a stick. Yeah. Exactly. We love meat on a stick and we love beer. Like, it's very hard to go wrong with those two elements. It's delicious, juicy meat on a stick and a beer. Like, it can't go wrong. Like, that's. I'm sure a lot of. It's like it's a powerful combo, and so it's just about. Maybe I'm a coward, Kurt. Maybe I'm just a coward. Maybe I'm not willing to pull the trigger.
Aren't we all though? What's
Well, I think everyone is a little bit.
so? What differentiates
There are some.
us between those who are the cowards that pull the trigger and the cowards that don't?
Well, it's like riches or ruin. I feel like, it's like those that pull the trigger and commit themselves fully to their dream still fail, and those that half-heartedly invest in some cryptocurrency become rich beyond their means. It's like I feel like there's an element of luck, and I almost feel like it's a gamble. And it definitely is in some way.
But isn't it?
Well, like everything's a gamble.
But isn't it a gamble in which, like, okay, like remember, like I was saying about Joey and Take and the laundromat, and they're saying whether or not we make this work or not, our success is measured by the experience and the adventure we had along the way.
But I feel like that's a privileged position, though, that they've probably got the safety nets behind them. I guess I'm quite unique that I don't really have a family connection to rely on, or like a financial backstop. If things go wrong for me, I have to deal with it myself. Like, there's no one that will help me or pick up the pieces. And so I don't want to assume anything about your friends there, but I would assume that they. Sorry.
I think you're right. I think they're quite well healed.
So maybe a gamble of 5 or 10 or 20% of their net worth may seem like a reasonable price to pay for an experience that may inform them better for the future. But for me, I am still quite green, I guess, on the financials. Like, it's all quite new money. It's still it hasn't grown. It hasn't compounded on the stock market as much as I'd like. It's very much like green money. And I think that if I was to lose, I mean, it wouldn't hurt me too much, but it would definitely. It would be up to me to pick up the pieces. It would be a considerable amount. So it is really a gamble. It is like everything on, not everything, but like maybe like 80% on red.
That's good.
It feels like a 50-50.
I think that's a really wise observation you've made. You're right. I mean, if you don't have anything to fall back on, and that risk is that significant, then that's something really to think about. I agree.
So I feel like it's like the golden handcuffs. I feel like I should just pursue the binality of my career as it is now until it runs out of juice with the AI stuff taking over, and then see where it goes from there. But yeah. That's anyway. Drunken thoughts. Apologies for my incoherent or I don't know, whatever ramblings.
Not at all. You're not, and your thoughts are quite coherent, and I find them fascinating. I'm really grateful we had a chance to talk about this.
Oh, mate, absolute pleasure always. Thank you. Yeah. How are you? How are you doing? How are you doing, Kurt?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. I'm really excited about I've got a job interview next week that I'm really excited about. And I really hope I get the job. I think I've reached the point where I've kind of had enough of this freedom, and I'm ready to go back to work. So I've got a job interview at an international school, that teaches. It's a Japanese language school, actually. And it's kind of like a junior college type of thing where their students are studying Japanese, but then they can take majoring in Japanese and minoring in another language. One of those is English, and they need an English teacher there. And it would be a job where I would be working with adults from places like Nepal, Sri Lanka, India, places like that that are trying to get a leg up, and I think it's just the perfect demographic for me. I hope I get this job.
Well, Yeah, like you can empathize with these people. They're people that are new to Japan and have come from a different culture, and that empathy is power. Like it's a powerful thing. Empathy, like the unknowns that you might be able to share. Like that's something you can really benefit from. Yeah, wow.
I'm really keen to spend
They can.
time.
Sorry.
I'm really keen to spend time with young people who are bootstrapping their own futures. Like a lot of these guys come from parts of the world where opportunities are limited, and they have received kind of an educational visa to come to Japan. And I would love to spend time with these people. And I want to show you something interesting. Check this out. I've got this rock.
Oh, thank you.
I'm moving stuff around. Can you see this rock? See all these big scratches across the top of it? Can you see these marks?
I can, yeah. It looks artificial, doesn't it? It looks like someone's done that.
I think, because this is all farmland, I think this rock was in the middle of a farm field and kept getting hit by the plow.
Oh, right. I see. Yeah, maybe it rolled around and was hit by the... Yeah, that makes sense.
Some of the lines are almost, along the same...
They're too straight.
Right, they're too straight.
Yeah,
and they're
too straight, aren't they?
It's like for a couple of seasons it laid this way and the plow just scraped over the top, and then it got mixed over here and it scraped across, or maybe they changed the way the plow went. Anyway, so I keep finding stuff like this in my yard. All these little artifacts of, pieces of pottery from the past and roof tiles, and I'm kind of I'm going to organize this all into the landscape of our ground here. But isn't that fun to think about the story that this rock might tell?
Yeah, it could have been several years of grain that fed the village.
Exactly.
And this stone was turned over every time. That's an interesting kind of perspective,
So I'm going to position this.
Are we the rock? Are we the rock of life? We get turned over and hit by the plow and...
What would be the rock? That's an interesting question. What would be the rock? Culture, maybe? Well, something that survives the individual, right?
Maybe it's like generations. I feel like it's like a generational analogy. It's like the grandfather, the father. It's like the seasons almost. It links. Wow, it's a very human connection to like the turning of years. It's. Yeah, I can see the profoundness there. Yeah, it's interesting when you think about it.
It is. I'm
Definitely.
So now I'm liberating all the these bricks and
Bits and
stones.
pieces.
I'm going to find a way to put them I'm going to move them over into the yard and kind of incorporate them because we've got this huge backyard, all this land back there, and I want to kind of slowly mold it into a beautiful garden over the next 10 years or so. Slow process.
There's a very traditional practice in the UK. We call it a rockery, and it's all the various. It's almost like a bed of plants, or like a display of flowers or other things you plant, and it's like you put the rocks around, and you it's almost like a mound of rocks and plants, and it's kind of interesting. Yeah, they're always really beautiful, and if you had like a parts. It almost looks like an old well. Almost those little bits of brick you have there. It looks like the remnants of a well. I don't know. You could maybe like form a well and then fill it with dirt and then plant some lovely flowers there. Something like that.
A rockery.
A rockery.
Is that what it's actually called?
Yes, yeah, a rockery. Yeah.
Here in Japan, the farmers take the rocks out of the fields by hand, and they'll throw them into the same spot, and they form little piles of rock along the edge of the field, like the rice field. I wonder if that's how a rockery, if that's a rockery too.
Oh, I wonder. Yeah, it tends to be more of a deliberate thing, but I can imagine that does. It does that. But I think that's almost like a climate-dependent thing too, though. In the UK, there's a lot of colder weather, so it's more like the rockery is there to establish like a little mini ecosystem for more alpine, more northern European, Nordic kind of plants, so like ferns and other things like that, because that's the kind of ecosystem that they're used to. I don't know how well that would work in Japan. It might just become overgrown, or I don't know.
So how would,
But,
in British English, how would you distinguish the two words rockery and cairn? How would those be distinguished?
oh, sure. So a cairn is a stacking of rocks, like the pinnacle of a hill or a mountain, where people, or actually no, a cairn is almost a hiker's hobby. The hobby of every hiker is to put a rock on another rock and establish a cairn. You know, it's the stacked rocks that become a cairn. But like a rockery is more like every rock is touching the earth, but it's kind of surrounded and interweaved with different plants. It's like yeah, like like a flower bed would be just sterile earth, but like a rockery would have all those bits and pieces. Oh, hey, a friend.
Yeah, mukade. This is the
Are they
Japanese giant centipede.
poisonous?
Yes, this is a very small one. Yes, they are. Venomous is the
Oh,
and
sorry, venomous.
yeah, but this is a very small one, but they're great, very enormous. Look at this.
Wow.
And so they're starting to hide away now for the winter. So, wait, where to go? I don't want to lose track of it. Nice.
Yeah, don't let it get in the glove.
Yeah. They actually,
wow.
their piercing mouth part. Well, let me get this camera up here so you guys can see on YouTube. There's 7 people watching on YouTube right now. So their jaws are actually their first set of forelegs. And so the biting mouth part. Ooh, he's getting very upset. I'm gonna let him go. I'm gonna put him up here. Nice. That's a really tiny one though. There you go. They get like this big. Do you have those in the UK? The big giant centipedes?
No, absolutely not. No, nothing in the UK can kill you or hurt you. Really, they're more scared of you than you are of it. You know,
I think there's a reason that Japan is the land of Godzilla. You know.
Well, like
we have here.
a lot of our like patron saints are almost they're given the title of like, you know, like for example, like St. Patrick, he was the one that drove the snakes from Ireland, you know, or St. George, you know, from the flag. He was the patron saint who drove all the dragons out of the UK, you know, like. So I feel like there was probably a horrible culling of of these populations at some point, you know. Like anything that could hurt you was just killed.
Right, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I guess that's kind of the Western archetype, right? Of taming nature. Nature is the home of the wild and the devilish, right? Japan doesn't quite see it that way.
Well, I think it's a sterilization in a way. It's you know, instead of teaching, I feel like maybe in the UK it was a more of a. Well, actually, I don't even know if those efforts even existed to sterilize the country, but like it feels though that there was an effort to do that. But I feel like it steals a lesson. It steals a lesson from people that are growing up in that country, where, you know, you have to be aware of where you are and what's out there. And to have a country that's so safe from the wildlife, it's like, it's almost...
think of the English garden or the European garden. It's straight lines and organized rows, and it's man overcoming nature and imposing order onto it. Whereas in the Japanese garden, it's an effort to have the ordered effort of humanity resemble nature in a perfected form.
Yeah. I guess there'd be some Buddhist leanings there about, you know, the living with it, not against it kind of thing.
Well, do you ever in English, I guess, religion? Is there ever a case where God is in the wild? Or is God in the cathedral?
So I was brought up as a Catholic. So God is, well, like I'm not very religious now, but I feel that the lessons that we're taught in the church are that England is God's chosen land, and that everything is set in the way it is because we are the center of everything. Like GMT is us. We are the 0 hour of. There's a lot of pomp and kind of.
Yeah, and the sun never sets in the British Empire. Yeah.
There's a lot of that, and maybe not nowadays, but definitely when I was growing up, it was kind of put into us that like we are the center of the world kind of vibe. All the maps have us in the middle, and all the time zones are set based on our country, and
right.
The sun never sets, etc., etc. But I don't know. Nowadays, there is definitely a bit of a difference there.
But don't you think the residue of the British Empire can still be seen? For example, English is still isn't the term lingua franca of the world? How many?
Oh yeah.
More
the language of business.
Yeah, but
definitely.
Even more so than that. I mean, look at India, right? I mean, what is that? How many people use English as their, if not not a second language, but a co-first language with Hindi, right? I mean, English is just everywhere. It's the language of aviation. I think it's the language of shipping. It's amazing.
Yeah, there was a very famous guy, Cecil Rhodes, who said that to be born British is to win the lottery of life.
Ooh,
he built the first railways from he built a lot of railways in Africa. His name Rhodes, Cecil Rhodes. He formed the country of Rhodesia, which was a problematic. There's a lot of anytime colonization comes up, you have to be very careful what you say.
Yeah.
So I won't say it was an amazing beacon of liberty and friendship. It definitely had a lot of oppression and horribleness, but a lot of the infrastructure of the world is based on British colonization. So even the Japanese, the reason the Japanese drive on the left side of the road is because we built a lot of railways in Japan, I believe. And the reason why you drive on the left is because in medieval times in the UK, if you were riding your horse through some unsavory territory, you would want your right hand to be free and to be able to fight the person on your right. So right-handedness was the dominant hand for your sword.
Right.
And so people would ride their horses on the left so that they could hit people with their sword on the right.
That makes sense.
And so that's kind of what directed us to drive on the left. And so a lot of countries like India, a lot of countries that were former colonies, they all drive on the left now. And that was just because of the influence from the UK. But yeah, I think to get to the point that to be able to speak English natively, a lot of people are kind of jealous of it. And I've never really understood that. I've never really appreciated that because it's just something I've had since I was born. But there are people that put a lot of value on being able to speak with like a British accent or something. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I kind of don't like that perspective, I feel like if anyone speaks English, I can understand you. It's the same as if I was to go to another country, like, I don't know, if I was to go to Germany and I could speak German in some form and they could understand me, I feel like it's like mission accomplished. They can understand me, I can understand them, mission accomplished. If I don't speak in exactly the German dialect and I'm able to speak exactly as how they speak in Berlin, it doesn't really detract from the fact that we're communicating and the communication is successful,
Right.
And I feel like that should be the goal that people aim for, is successful communication, not replicated perceived formality, because it's not like I don't know. I just grew up with this voice, you know. I didn't really put any effort into it. It was just I'm a product of my surroundings, but there's so much replication that people bother themselves with when they really need to just focus on comprehension. They don't need to, you know. And I feel like when you're pursuing the English language teaching area, and I feel like that's something I would want to pass on if I could. You know, just comprehension is more important than replication of an accent. You know.
Right.
Hey, Rudy.
Yeah, I think he's getting a little cold. I'm gonna throw him inside the house. He can stay really warm. Just let me open the door and put him on the threshold.
Thank you.
I got this stroller for him that really works out well, but he's such a little dog. He gets so cold so easy. Let me move this out of the way, which is good because I wanted to clean up where he is.
Maybe he needs like a little sweater for the winter months, you know, a little jumper.
Well, he's actually wearing one right now.
Oh yeah, he is.
But it doesn't seem to. He still keeps cold. He's such a thin little guy. Good boy.
Oh, I wish him luck. He's doing his best, isn't he?
Yeah, he's doing his best. He's a good boy.
Bless him. Absolutely.
Bless him. Out. She took the Jimny to our car to get service. So I'm taking advantage of the fact that the car area here is clear. I hear you.
Nice. Yeah.
Now he wants to. Maybe I'll switch areas. Maybe I'll work over there since he wants to be outside with me. Let me grab him again. He's gonna board. You want something, Joe? Maybe if I put him in the sun, he'll be happy. There, see, he's got his little jacket on.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually pretty warm.
Oh, he's fine. I mean, what kind of temperature are you there at the moment? Like, it looks like 18, 19 C. What's that in Fahrenheit?
I think so, yep. And that's 18 or 19, I think is exactly what it is. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit.
66? Yeah. He should be fine. Yeah.
Put him in the backyard. I'm gonna move this back there now too. I found a good place for him to sit. I think a little bit of sun on the patio. Let's see. There. Can you be smart enough to stand in the patio now? Stay in the sunshine? Silly boy. Let's see. I put this here and that. Oh, that's good. That works. Okay, let me get my tool. Just a second.
Yeah, we can keep an eye on it. No problem.
Yeah, it looks like he's doing good there. You okay? You get the shadow of that chair on you. Move the chair. Oh, there's a little sunshine. Still shaking?
Bask.
Sit here.
Bask, Rudy. Bask in the sunshine. It's good for you.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
It's a challenge to keep him safe and warm.
A very cute doggo. Very cute dog. I love Rudy. Good to see him.
He's a good boy. I lost my little tool, but I can use this little trowel to kind of pull up some of these weeds here. Flagstones.
Kurt, it's been an absolute pleasure spending an hour with you. I do have to disappear. I have work in a few hours.
You better get some sleep. But do me a favor.
Yes.
Make me a promise. Make sure you go into the kitchen and get a big tall glass of water to down before you go to sleep to keep yourself hydrated.
Absolutely. I'm already on that. I have a liter of water to drink before I go to sleep. So I'll that's my next task.
Okay, well, I'm really
Thank
glad
you so much for the encouraging words and listening to my gripes and groans. I appreciate it.
It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah.
Sleep well, and I hope you have a really good week. Come by and see me anytime, okay?
Thank you very much. I appreciate this a lot. So thank you very much for your time. Have a good day.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye-bye. Good night.
And those of you who are out there, anyone can come join me anytime. Just go over to Discord. I'm in the softypapa's office. So if you're watching, if you'd like to talk to me while I'm doing this live, just drop on by. Oh, somebody's there.
Yep, it's me. It's Heather.
Hey there, Journey. How you doing? What's new, Journey?
Let me see if I can mute myself because
Journey,
I have an echo.
Journey, I'm broadcasting on YouTube, so just know that our conversation is being overheard by 7 people.
Yeah, I know. Can you still hear me though?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. You probably know me from Facebook.
Wait, this isn't Journey? Who is this?
No, this is Heather.
Heather. Hi, Heather.
Yeah. You hear Bear in the background.
Yo, hi.
I'm the one that recently lost a husband on Facebook.
Oh, right. I'm so sorry to hear about that. I'm glad to meet you in person, but my sincere condolences.
Yeah, thank you. Bear, stop. Because you're talking to people now.
Well, you know what? I just discovered accidentally that I could combine my, because I do 2 things kind of separately. I have this Discord office hours, typically for a half hour every day, Monday through Friday, and then I have, and then I also do this YouTube live thing. And I just discovered through serendipity that I could do them simultaneously, and so like you and I are talking, but there's like 7 people watching at the same time. So what do you know?
It's a Rudy. I normally haunt your little streams, like when you were having them on the outside, and yeah. So I remember listening to your Creed stuff, and yeah, I kind of need to get the affairs in order.
What's going on?
Well, we weren't expecting my husband to pass away, so.
Oh, just may interrupt once one more time, just to keep in mind that this is broadcasting on the internet, so please be careful if you don't not say anything you don't want publicly said.
Yep. So he had a life insurance policy, and so thankfully his work had that. But I'm finding out the hard way that funerals are expensive for the USA, because I'm in California, if you remember. I have quite a few of your little, got your artwork and one of the kokeshis and that pretty little bell.
Right, Heather.
And,
yes. Right.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, you've got a lot of nice stuff.
Yes. So.
Thank you for your support.
Yes. I miss buying from your store.
Hopefully it'll be back in the future, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the tariffs are just, it's gone crazy.
Yeah, it really has.
We have a new person that joins the chat.
Hey.
So.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I know I would listen to you when you would be reading from your book and stuff, and like I'm trying to figure out what all I need to do to get my affairs in order because we weren't expecting my husband to pass away on Tuesday, and he was 41.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, I'm only 36.
Wow.
So I'm trying. Yeah. So that was a wake up call because now we're having to deal with the cemetery and all that. So now I'm just trying to figure out how to cover my ducks. And I remember you mentioning before you had like something that, like your little list of what you would do to make sure that all your affairs were ordered. And I was trying to figure out if you still have that, if that makes sense.
So, well, first of all, I'm sorry I missed all of that on Facebook. I tend to kind of just post, but I really don't follow anything that's going on over there. So this is all
Yeah.
news to me. So my sincere condolences on the loss of your husband so recently. Wow. Um,
So,
well, as for that list that I was referring to, it was really a spreadsheet of
mhm.
finances to
Yeah.
basically list what my expenses are and very importantly what my sources of income are, and to make sure that my wife is aware of and has access, so speaking for readiness for death, making sure that my wife is aware of the assets that will be there after I'm gone, that she knows how to access them, that she has passwords, and is competent to run our financial affairs after I'm gone. That's basically the extent of it. Just making sure that all that was in place, and making sure that once I'm gone, that she'll be left with enough to cover her for the rest of her life. That's basically all there was to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm now looking at getting life insurance policies, and I'm just like,
Did your husband?
I don't know. He had one through work,
Mm. Oh, good.
and it was mutual something.
Mm-hmm. Mutual of Omaha,
So
maybe, or Mutual Life, or something.
it's something, I think.
Mm.
So now I'm just trying to figure out because now my Facebook is like inundated about life insurance policies. I was like, thanks for the subliminal messaging.
Right.
Now I'm just trying to find a good company to go with because I have little ones. Like my youngest just turned 7 last month.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like I need to prepare for her type situation.
Can I suggest something? You're in California, right?
Yes.
So
If you know where Sacramento is.
I do. And so
Yes.
California, for all of its problems, one thing that California is really good about is we have excellent social services. Now, I'm not saying you necessarily need social services for money help, although there is that.
Mm-hmm.
But there are also social services for expert advice about what to do after a situation like this and what to do to prepare going forward. Um, if you have access, like and probably at both the city and the county, Sacramento is going to be great, being the capital, but probably at both the city and the county level, if you do a Google search, or maybe even if you have access to artificial intelligence like ChatGPT, explain your situation and say to ChatGPT, what kind of social service resources could I reach out to? And again, not necessarily like to ask for money necessarily, because you may not be in the position to need to, but there is that. But actually to talk to experts who can give you advice about how to build a more secure and stable house for yourself. Your county in particular will likely have a Department of Public Social Services that will be, and a branch of family services that will have lots of resources that can help you.
Okay. Yeah, and just my family doesn't know what way to like send me, and I know you you have your creed and stuff, and I was like, maybe he might have a direction I might be able to do.
Well, I think the best thing to do right now is it's an okay time to lean in on, you know, the support of your family and the community that you have. If you've got a church, I don't know if you're a church goer, but if you've got a church, churches are great for, you know, for this, because this is the time of need, right? And and it's okay to fold into your family if they're there for you, for that.
Okay.
And then on a going forward basis, try to figure out what the assets are, figure out what benefits your husband might have left behind. Talk to HR at work, maybe. They can tell you about what what programs he was enrolled with, what benefits may be due. Like you said, the insurance is a great one. And also maybe, and again, Department of Public Social Services in your county is going to point you at like a counselor that can give you great ideas about what to do from that perspective as well.
Okay.
So to kind of assess where you stand and then decide a path forward. I mean, like with regard to sustaining your family. I mean, how have you got a plan? Have you got some ideas about how to keep things going?
My family owns a decent sized business, and it pays out to the shareholders, which I'm technically a shareholder. So I technically don't need to. Barrett, will you stop? I don't need to get a job. I can support us with that. It's just kind of weird not having him here anymore.
Right.
And we currently rent, and the landlady is wanting to sell the house, but she's not in a rush to sell the house because it's already paid off. And she's really nice, which is a blessing. We can probably get the house for under $300,000. And I could make the payments on that with my income with no problem, because California is expensive.
It is. But Heather, it sounds like you're already, I mean, there's no good situation. There's no good element to this, right? I mean, losing your husband, losing a spouse in this situation. I don't mean, whoops. Just a second. That's my wife calling me. Just a second. Oh, man. She wants me to come over and have lunch at her dad's house.
It's lunchtime. It's
So-
only almost 7 here. But
Yeah. So I
to
think
poke you about ideas.
I think I better go off, and otherwise she'll call back. I can't take the phone call and stay on this at the same time. But I think you're already. The good news is you know you guys are solvent, right? You've got to have a way. You have a way to have liquidity and some money coming in.
Yeah.
How about seeing a counselor? Because I mean, my wife's calling me back again. You know, to help with the thoughts about all of this, right?
You can also message me on Discord too.
Okay, let me do that. Let me. I have to, it's time for me to sign off and go over and join her. She's at her dad's house. She went for lunch.
Yeah, you have a good lunch. You enjoy it.
Thank you, Heather, and
So
I wish you all the best. I'm sorry about what's happening.
Yeah, no worries. Bye, Rudy. You're such a good boy.
Take care for now, Heather. I'll be here again tomorrow. I'll be at the same time.
Okay, awesome. Bye.
Bye bye.